my cluttered garage. I'm really glad you're here. A place where we can laugh and talk and days are filled with cheer. The clouds of sun may come and go, but one thing's always clear. Welcome back, my friend. You know I'm really glad you're here. Yeah.
Hey, welcome back, my friends. I am indeed glad that you're here on this 11th day of September 2023. And this is live stream number 131. There I am multitasking again, trying to look at things. Anyway, welcome here tonight. It's been a little while. It feels like it's been a long time. We skipped last week because it was Labor Day weekend holiday. So it's been a couple weeks, and it feels like it. So I'm glad to see that folks showed up, and I was reading through some of the comments. And first, I want to wish Kent well wishes. I know you're still recovering. I saw that in the comments from back surgery, and that's a long recovery, but you got to take it easy, and it's worth the time to get better. So anyway, thinking of you, and I see Ross has joined us already, and Dave from RCAF Polar Express, and our friend Chris from the Watershed Overlook. There's Mike and John and Dwayne and so many others here as well. Anyway, thanks a bunch. If you're new here, you're probably not. You've probably been here before. But if you're new here for the first time on the live stream, let us know. Say hi in the live chat. Tell us it's your first time here, so we can welcome you, and let me know how you found the channel. Was it Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and then that Threads thing that I don't even know what that is. So isn't that another Facebook company or Instagram company or something? But I don't get it. I don't know why we need another social media platform. But anyway, I try to post some things on that Threads thing. I don't do X. Never did Twitter. Just didn't seem like a format that fit for here. And so those are the platforms where you can find me. So let me know how you did find me, and also know that we're only here from 7 to 8 p.m. Wrap it up within an hour. So try to keep things moving along, and I do appreciate it if you click that thumbs up while you're watching. Well, about tonight's show, well, I just kind of talk about what I've been doing on the property the past couple of weeks. I've been putting a lot more videos out. You've probably seen that. We do want to talk about this day, September 11th. It's the 22nd anniversary of the terrorist attacks on our nation in New York City and Washington and Pennsylvania. Really affected the whole country. And I thought it'd be kind of neat to just reflect on that a little bit. I don't know about neat. That's probably not the right word to use. But anyway, 22 years, that's a long time. Almost a quarter of a century. So, there are adults alive today who didn't experience that. So, us folks who lived through that time and have memories of that day and that experience, you can't imagine that there are people who weren't here at that time, who didn't have that experience. So I think we'll talk about that a little bit. I'll talk about where I was. It's nothing earth-shattering. I was just living my life like most people, and I'm sure a lot of you too. But I'm curious what the reaction was from those of you who are maybe on the West Coast or in the middle part of the country, or some of our folks from Canada. And I know this affected the entire world, but we're on the East Coast. We're 3 hours from New York City, so it was literally close to home, so to speak, because we have family who work up there. Didn't affect anybody directly in our family, but it was close, and it was a weird feeling. We'll talk about that in a little bit more as well. We do a giveaway each night, or each Monday night, sticker giveaway. I don't have the stickers in front of me, but here's some right here. There's a little bag of them right there. But what I thought I'd do tonight, since we haven't been together for a while, and we're honoring this special day. It's weird to have the right words to say for that. But anyway, let's do a t-shirt giveaway from the merch store, which is at shopmcg.com. And I don't really sell a lot of merch. I don't really push it, although I order my own t-shirts from there. So it's kind of neat. I can order a sample of the t-shirts that are available to everybody. And this is the 25,000 subscriber celebration shirt. It's got that on the back as well. One of my favorites. But anyway, so I order from there because it's just, print to order. So anyway, we're going to do a t-shirt giveaway later. And if you go to open another tab and go to shopmcg.com, you can look through that. You don't have to decide now. Anyway, whoever wins, I'll have you send me an email with what you want. But just basically going to say, pick out whatever t-shirt you want. Can't do the hoodie. There's some other things in there. But anyway, we'll talk about that. Maybe you want a mug instead. That's fine too. We can do that. I've not been happy with Spring, which is the company that produces these products. Some folks had ordered and it took a super long time. And there just aren't other options available that I'm aware of that integrate well with YouTube. So I use Spring. Now I did order a shirt a couple weeks ago and I had it probably within 10 days. So I was impressed by that. So let's hope that whatever they went through, they're getting better at it. So let's look at some comments from the old comment section. A lot of comments about t-shirts already. There's Tractor Talk with Gary. Good to see you, Gary. Glad you made it here tonight. Linda's here. Yep. Okay. So I put out a video today. We'll talk about this a little bit now. Did you see the video? I don't normally put videos out on Mondays, but I thought it's been a little while since I put one out again because we were away at the Bluegrass Festival and I didn't have the live stream. So I cut a little video together with a chainsaw that I just purchased. And I had a lot of fun with that. If you watch the video, you'll see that it was kind of fun. And it's a neat little chainsaw, a little Echo CS 2511T. It's a little guy. It's so little. And if it was not a brand name like Echo, I would probably think it's a joke. But it's not a joke. It's a real little saw, and I just love the thing. It's funny. Anyway, if you haven't checked out the video, please go check that out after today's live stream, and help a guy out. Watch the video, give it a thumbs up. That always makes a difference because the algorithm likes that. So when you go watch that video, our friend Gary from Tractor Talk with Gary, he always says full watch. He knows like it helps to let the video run all the way through for the viewer retention analytics. That algorithm, that sneaky little bugger is always watching. It's watching everything. It's watching how many people see they don't know what you see, but anyway, they show the video on your feed. When you go to YouTube, you see recommendations who come up, or maybe after you watch a video, you'll see a screen full of other videos. So that's them presenting the video to you, and then so they know how many times they've placed that video in front of people. And then if you click on the video, then that's the click-through rate, and they know like, oh, we showed the video 1,000 times, and 5 people clicked on it, or whatever that is. And then that algorithm watches. And then if you click on that video and you watch it for more than, 30 seconds or a minute, then it counts that as a view. And it's like, oh, this person who watches other type of chainsaw videos or tractor videos liked that. So I'm going to show them some other videos. Or I'll take that video that, that Jim liked and he liked it, and I see he likes these other kind of things. I'll send it to Phil, because Phil likes these things. Maybe Phil will like it, and then it'll pop up on Phil's screen. It's kind of indirectly. And then if it catches Phil's eye and he clicks on it and watches it, and then goes on. It's kind of fascinating. I don't know if it's as scary as it sounds. It sounds like Big Brother's watching all the time, and it kind of is. But it's not. I don't think it's for any more than to give you content, entertainment, whatever you want to call it, that you enjoy. I feel kind of like you feel a little bit violated sometimes. Like you're watching what you're looking at what I'm watching, and you're making suggestions. Perfect example, Amazon. You know, we love to hate Amazon. A lot of people use it. It's convenient. I get messages from Amazon saying, "Here's something that we think you would like," and I'm like, "That's none of your business, Amazon." And then I look at the product, and I'm like, "Darn it, you're right. I do like that. I think I need that. Thank you, Amazon. Thank you for spying on me." It doesn't matter to me. I don't know. You can choose to participate in this high tech world, or you can choose not to. You know, you can unplug. You don't have to have these internet accounts. You don't have to have. I mean, I still know two people that I know personally who do not have cell phones. Out of all the people I know of two who do not have cell phones uh, or email addresses. They do have landlines, but these two people, and they're local here, don't have cell phones, don't have email. I've got to literally, if I need to talk to them, I need to call them or literally knock on their door because I can't send them a message. I can't text them. I can't call their cell phone. Uh, so again, you can choose if you don't want to participate in this world of technology. You can choose not to. So you know, I don't complain about it because I realize I chose to participate, and I like technology. I really do. I've always have, and I think this is an exciting time to be alive with the technology that's available to us. I mean, look at what I'm doing right now. I'm in my house. I'm broadcasting from my house. You know what it would take even 20 years ago to be able to broadcast something from your home. You know, the internet has given us the ability to reach everyone. So there's my little sidebar as well. Going back to 9/11, I wanted to talk about that summit. I see David White's comment, and David White says, "I still get choked up when I hear 'Where were you when the world stopped turning?'" I'm with you, David. That song has been a loop in my head all day today. And you see, I titled the live stream, "Where were you on September 11th?" So I thought about that. But uh, what a, I mean, that is a fantastic song by Alan Jackson. And you're right. I think about that all the time. And I too can get choked up listening to that because it's a good song. Um, there's the 9/11 Museum in New York City. I went to that with my sister Linda, and it was very touching and emotional. And I don't even know that we saw the whole thing. Uh, so I would recommend that if you're on the East Coast or if you get to the East Coast, check out that museum. It's really interesting. You know, they have artifacts from that day, and they're like it's 22 years is a while ago, but still, it's not like ancient artifacts. It's telephones. It's things that are now starting to look old. Like, oh yeah, I remember those type of phones, uh, and just different things they have. When you walk through, they have the recordings of people's voicemails to their families. You hear that overhead. You see the burned out fire trucks. It's very touching. So anyway, if you can get there, I would recommend going there. Um, okay, so yeah, so question is, where were you? So here's my story, and I hope this isn't boring. But again, I was just living my life like everybody else. I was at work. I had my own business at the time, and I had a little office set up in town. Video. I was doing video production. That's what my business was. Uh, and I had dropped our youngest off at daycare, who was what, 2 at the time, 2.5, almost 3. Uh, Came back from daycare. It must have been 9:30, 10 o'clock. I walked into the office, and there was other businesses in this building, and the person across the street hall Stat Street and Hall. Person across the hall said, "Did you hear what happened?" And I said, "No." And she said, "Airplane flew right into the World Trade Center." And she's like chuckling about it because I guess she didn't know much about it yet. And we're thinking like a little Cessna or something, like somebody either miscalculated or crashed. It was sad enough, but it was sort of like, oh, a plane hit the building. That's weird. And then as time went on and we heard more about it, and again, 2001 was the age of flip phones. There were no smartphones that I had. I don't know if there were smartphones then. Um, the office building didn't have cable TV, so I had this little 10-inch CRT television, and I put some rabbit ears up, and people from all over the block basically had come in to my studio, and we were watching this fuzzy image on TV, and we were all just kind of glued to it, and it was just weird. So I remember the feeling of this is it. Like everybody's thinking we're at war. This is going to just continue because they hit the World Trade Center, Building 1, Building 2, and then the Pentagon, and then the plane going down in Pennsylvania. And you can't help but think, what if this doesn't stop? What if it just continues and continues? And I just felt like that's it. Like it's over. That was kind of the feeling that I think a lot of us had. And I stayed in town most of the day that day, and then went home in the afternoon after being just immersed in this news, which again was not nearly the news cycle that we have today, but still, obviously, something like that. You've got news on 24/7. I was overwhelmed by the news, by talking to people, and thinking that the world has just that everything's gonna end the way we know it. And I drove home, and of course, we live out in the country. And I had this moment as I was turning onto our road. There was an intersection, and on the left side of the intersection was a cow pasture, still is, fenced-in cow pasture. And I saw the cows out there in the field, and they were grazing. Some were lying down. They were just doing their thing. And I saw those cows out there, and I thought, okay, like, it's going to be okay. And I thought, those cows, their life hasn't changed one bit. They don't have a clue what's going on, or a worry. And that was the bigger thing. Like, they're not worried about anything. And it was such a moment of normal for me that I thought, okay, that brought so much peace and comfort. And I'm so fortunate that, again, we live out here, and I was able to experience that, where people who live especially in the areas that were hit, they didn't have that moment of reprieve. Everything was just chaos for days, for weeks. But I had that moment of coming home, like, things are still okay here. Things are still normal. And of course, it was still weird, for days. We got to a point where Ann said, you got to turn the TV off. We just can't keep this TV on around the clock. And it was a lot. So, and since that time, there have been annual remembrances. Our county had a wonderful remembrance that they did for years. I think it stopped just a couple years ago. Really nice 9/11 ceremony. And we went to other ones around the state. And I remember I don't know if they did it today, but I know I've seen news stations broadcast in real time, rebroadcast that day, synced up to the minute, so that you essentially could be watching real time what people were watching 22 years ago. Again, I don't know if they did that today or not, but I always thought that was pretty fascinating to be synced up with that time. And again, there are people alive today who didn't experience that. Didn't even. It's just probably seems like such an ancient thing to them. So let me take a moment to look at some comments now that I've talked my head off. So yeah, okay. Kevin was pouring sidewalks. Thought it was strange that there were no planes in the air. I do remember that too. In the day or days following, I don't know how many days they had the um, airlines shut down. But when you look for planes around here anyway, we've got Philadelphia Airport that's, I guess, in this path. So there are pretty constant planes flying over. Um, Not to an annoying level, but if you're aware, you'll notice a plane every so many minutes. And I remember also sitting on the back step of the house, and it was so quiet, like not, and to think it was just weird to think across the whole country there wasn't a single plane in the sky other than military planes. Uh, it was odd. You're right, Kevin. That was an odd thought. Um, and then Chris is talking about a friend called to tell him that a plane had hit the World Trade Center, and he clicked over to the big news website, and all there was a still photo. There was no online video. How about that? To think of that, I got my first iPhone in 2010, so that was 9 years later. And I was just telling Ann the other day that I remember the original iPhone that I had couldn't take video. Um, it could only take photos only. And I remember downloading an app later that could record video, but the iPhone did not record video. It was only low resolution photos, and it was amazing. But at the time, you're right. Video on the web, Chris, at that time was not a thing. Not a thing. So, and look at Wilson here, second grade, just a kid watching the TV. Remembers teachers crying. Didn't grasp exactly what was happening until it was a couple years later. Yeah, I mean that's to a second grader, you wouldn't know what was going on, right? Uh, I mean, it's equivalent to I'm not old enough to remember Kennedy being assassinated uh, because I wasn't born yet. That's why I'm not old enough to remember that. But for folks who are alive today who remember that, that was one of those moments where people say, "Where were you?" And this is a Kennedy moment for people of this generation. Uh, just the amount of shock. So interesting from Twin Brooks Acres doing property tax appeals in a library basement. We had no TV or radio or phones. We could not see the TV until lunch break, and not one person canceled their appointment. How about that? They just went on, right? Um, Silly thing. I was at my studio and I had an appointment for that day, so I didn't leave. I waited there. Had one appointment coming in, and they never showed up. But I felt like I can't leave. They might show up. But I should have just put a sign on the door and left. But what was I going to do? There wasn't really anything to do, so I did stay there as well. And BT Andy recorded 24 hours of TV and bought every newspaper you could find to build a time capsule. Well, I hope you still have those. That'd be interesting to see. Yeah, good idea to capture that. John Ritter was getting ready for class at the University of North Dakota, and they all got sent home. Classes canceled. So it had to be scary out in the Midwest too, right? Thinking, is this coming here? I imagine you were all thinking that. We didn't know what was happening. And Matt remembers the teacher in sixth grade looking at the computer, dazed but wouldn't say anything. He probably didn't want to scare the kids. So it was definitely a different time, and it was a bit chaotic, but it was also you look back and gosh, things are kind of weird now. And I'm not going to get political here. I don't do that, especially here on the live stream of the channel. But people talk about September 11th being potentially one of the worst days or the worst day in our history. And then September 12th being one of the best days. And people long for that feeling of September 12th. And I think that's something great to focus on because September 12th, we were united. We were flying our flags regardless of political affiliation. We were supportive of one another, regardless of religion or politics or color or race or background. It was, I guess, a distraction from noise, and I don't think there was as much noise then because we didn't have social media, we didn't have the 24-hour news that we have now, um, not at this level. So maybe we were a little more naive. I don't know, but I feel like if this happened today, it would be, unfortunately, it would be political, regardless of what party's in power. The other one would be blaming that one, and we'd be doing it anyway. Let's get back to September 12th, right? That's the thing of remembering that we have a lot more in common than we do our differences, and that's what I like about having this YouTube channel, because the things that I focus on the channel are things that you focus on in your life, that you enjoy, that the work with the compact tractor, that some of the DIY, some of the work around the property. We always say we share that in common, that we love the rural lifestyle. Some people call it homesteading, some people are farming, but it's a rural lifestyle that we all really enjoy, and we have that in common. And we're very different, a lot of us. The audience that we have here, uh, 30 some thousand subscribers. uh, the channel's growing all the time, and you think about 30,000 people, they're not all the same. So there's differences there, and if we all started talking about other things, we probably would butt heads, but we focus on the things we have in common, like little tiny chainsaws. You got to see this chainsaw. I think I want to make another video, just a fun video with it. I don't know, but it was. I can't wait to go out and use it again. You know what I like about it? The chainsaw is that it is so light. It's like an extension of your body. Those other saws are so heavy, which are great when you need to do some big work. Uh, but this thing is just like, it is like just having an extension, like it's just having like Edward Scissorhands, Edward Chainsaw hands. So, and Linda was a teacher at that time. We're talking about teachers in schools, and it was hard being a teacher at that time and keeping a happy face. I don't remember. I don't think the kids got sent home early from school. Yeah, I don't think so. Um, and Gary here spent 2 weeks running hard, hauling relief supplies to New York City. Went right to ground zero once with a special delivery to FEMA. Yeah, there were a lot of trucks. Uh, our local fire department, which again, fire and ambulance, which are, we're 3 hours from the city, but they were all from towns throughout the county. They were all trekking up there to help. Um, and I do remember that they had, I guess, it's triage areas set up that they were expecting this influx of people to treat, and they never showed up because so many were killed. There were about 3,000 people killed that day, most of them in New York City, about 2,700 in New York City. The rest uh, uh, in D.C., Pennsylvania. Of course, a lot of firefighters, first responders killed as well. But I do remember that they were waiting for the ambulance to start coming in with the injured, and mostly they were just killed, and just horrible, just horrible. So it's it's sad, but I think we need to talk about it. And I think we need to keep it out front. But it is, we definitely want to move on from that as well. There are some neat documentaries. There was one that was put out just after the events, because there was this documentary film crew, which is a couple guys following this New York City fire department, and they had gotten so close with them that they went on rounds with them, and they were there, and that was just fascinating. Then there was one we watched the other night that's called "I Was There," I think, and it was just accounts of people who were in the area, and it was video that they had taken, because again, there wasn't much video at that time. There weren't cell phones with video cameras. Anybody who took video that day actually had a physical video camera. Um, so I guess through the years they gathered up footage from these people and told the story through their lens, and that was fascinating. So I forget where that is on Hulu or something, but it's called 9/11. I was there, so we were watching that the other night. Very interesting. Um, and Chris, yeah, we talk about New York all the time. You'd like to visit the Flight 93 Memorial. I've not been there myself either, and I think that would be nice. So anyway, I see Edward Joyce is here. Better late than never. No, that's right. It's good to have you here for sure, for sure. So there was a question. We're going to get back to talking about what we do here on the channel, uh, talking about tractors and things like that. There, I just brought that little graphic up there. Those are the kind of things that we normally talk about here. And reminder that if you have a specific question, to post your question in this format, the word question followed by your question, and then we'll see your question. Speaking of, I saw a question, so I will look for that right now because it was a good question. But it was before all this talk about 9/11. So the question was, and I like that you use the formula here, the format question. Have you ever thought about if the bucket doesn't work to turn the tractor around and use the 3-point hitch? The B2601 can lift a lot more on the back than the front. Steve, that is true. Uh, it's funny you mentioned that because I thought about this like 2 days ago. I was doing something with the tractor, and the B2601 does have limited lift capacity for good reason because it has the limitations of the small tractor. It would literally destroy itself if it had stronger lift capacity because it would bend things like I did before. But I was thinking this exact thing, Steve, because I had put the wood chipper on the back of the B2601. The wood chipper is very heavy, and I thought I feel like there's nothing this 3-point hitch won't pick up. It's so much. It's got so much lift capacity, and I think they make forks, rear forks, 3-point hitch forks. A lot of old tractors used to have like a scoop in the back. I remember seeing that old Ford 8Ns or whatever. They don't have the scoop in the back. I guess they would just back into a pile of dirt, pick it up, and then had like a trip and you could dump it. Uh, but I think you're right. I don't know what, it wouldn't be too convenient not having a bucket back there, but you're right. The lift capacity is incredibly more. I don't know what the numbers are, but again, it seems like there's nothing it won't pick up. It just it doesn't struggle. It just does it. It just does it. So the 3-point has a much greater capacity for sure. Um, and Chev Headhead is here. Good to see you. And Bob has 3-point forks. They're handy. Yeah, I can see where they would be. In fact, um, I can see where they'd be almost more handy because, first of all, you have that increased lift capacity. Also, they would be level. If you don't have an auto leveling loader on your tractor, which I don't, when you're picking things up with the forks, you have to be curling back as you're lifting up to keep that load level. And then, of course, like when I move around those IBC totes, of course, mine I can only put a quarter of it filled with water so it can pick it up. But as I was moving things here to the new farmhouse, I was running back and forth from the other house, which is less than a mile away, and yeah, I'd use the forks and pallets. And driving down the road, everything was in front of me. It was blocking my view. So if I had rear pallet forks, I could have backed up to the pallet, picked it up, and just drove it up like a little truck, basically. So I could see where that would be pretty handy to keep the load level, and then again the increased capacity, and it's behind you instead of blocking your view. You got me thinking now. It'd be an interesting test if I could get some rear pallet forks and see how much of the IBC tote it could pick up from the rear. Because again, I can't really use them with water. I don't need to right now anyway. But uh, you know, and other things like Bob is saying, IBC tote front and back when cutting wood, great for ballast. But if you are moving firewood, I guess you could. I don't think there'd be a lift capacity issue if I filled my bucket with firewood, but certainly you can put a big load of firewood in one of those IBC totes and move that around. So interesting thought. Interesting thought. David has a question specific about the farmhouse here. We're going to talk about heat, winter heat. Uh, Great question. It has some rooms don't have heat at all. So there may be some electric space heaters going on here. We are looking at, I want to have a wood stove installed. It's got two chimneys, original chimneys that are very old. One of the chimneys has an oil fired uh, boiler in the basement going into one of those chimneys. So I can't put a wood stove into that chimney because you can't have two fuel types going into one chimney. It's too small to put double flues in. So that one has the oil heater in it. Leave it with that. The oil heat heats up two of the rooms with radiant floor heat. It's got concrete slabs with radiant floor heat. So that's how that's heated. And then the living room, dining room has baseboard heat, and that'll help there. And then up here where I am in this room, there's nothing. So the previous owners told us that it wasn't a problem, that heat worked its way up. We'll see. We'll see about that. But I want to get a wood stove in the other chimney, which has not been used for years. They had used it. They had a fireplace or a wood stove in there, or a coal stove actually, years and years ago in the kitchen. I want to put a wood stove on the other side, which would actually be in the dining room, block off the kitchen side, and put a wood stove in the dining room area. So I just recently reached out to somebody to have the chimney looked at. Again, the chimney's 140 plus years old. We want to make sure that it's okay, or if we can get a liner put in, a metal liner, stainless steel liner, that would be ideal if they can do that. But I would like to get a wood stove working in this house, not only because I have always in my life always wanted a wood stove. I love fireplaces. I love having campfires outside, and just always wanted a wood stove. So not only that, we've got 30 acres of forest back there. So I mean, it's like free heat. If we can heat up enough of the house with that, I've got trees down in the woods that probably I've got a couple seasons of wood just laying there in this big tree that had fallen. It's probably already seasoned. So yeah, I'd like to do that. Long answer, but we'll be okay. And again, they did a lot of work to this house in the 80s when they bought it. It was really under threat of being torn down when they bought it. That's the condition it was in. But they had the vision to save it, and they did such a great job. Thank you again, Phil and Lucinda, if you're watching. Sometimes they watch, and they sent me some pictures of some of the work they had done, and it was a lot. And they did a good job because it's still standing and it's in pretty good shape. Although I am holding onto the desk because if I let go, I'm going to roll backwards because the floor goes like this. Not really. Well, I wouldn't roll backwards, but it does. It did settle through the years. That may have happened 100 years ago, but the floor definitely has settled in that corner. So, and Gary saying it can't beat wood heat. I'm excited to have it. People have said, why don't you put a pellet stove in? They're clean, they're easy. Maybe I'll get to that point, but I want the experience of a wood stove because it's something I have not had in the past. And I just like that. I don't like the smell too much. I like the smell though of it. Just smells good. I like a campfire smell. So I don't mind a little bit of that smell in the house. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Good question from Chris. Is it beginning to feel like home yet? It does. It does feel like home. And what's interesting to me is, again, having lived at the other house my entire life, that had a different feeling of home. Like that really felt like I almost felt like I could never leave because it was home. It was everything I knew. It was all I knew my entire life. I had memories of my grandparents there, of just I walked that property, which is it was 4 acres, which is not a whole lot, but it's more than a lot of people have. And it was almost harder to leave the land than the house, because the house we had renovated through the years, Ann and I, and there was really nothing left other than the shell of the house that was similar. We had changed everything, added rooms, taken down walls. There wasn't anything you'd walk into and say, "Oh, I remember this." It was all different. So, but the land, when I walked around that land those last few weeks, I thought, I have, I know every square foot of this property. Like, there truly wasn't a single place where my footprints were not on that property, because I had put fences up, I had cleaned up area, like every bit, every square foot had my, I know had my footprints on it. And then the emotional part was my great grandparents also walked on this property. So you felt that connection of 100 years ago. They came down from North Jersey, New York, to this barren area at the time, and they walked this property, and I thought that was touching for me. So that was a feeling of home that I'll probably never have again. But I'm extremely comfortable here, and now that we've made this move, I see why people move now. It's like, no big deal. Like, I could do it again now. Like, before it was really difficult, but now I'd be like, I could do it. I could do it. I don't want to, but I could. It's not going to be. We'll never have that feeling of home. But I can't explain it. It's very comfortable, and I was taking a walk in the woods today. I pushed some trails with the box blade the other day. Didn't record any of that, and I just, anytime I'm out here walking around on the property, I'm like, I love it here so much. Like, no regrets whatsoever. Just love everything about it. Just love it all. So thanks for the question. Appreciate that. Let me set up this giveaway here and make sure I don't lose you. I forgot to set this up earlier. So we will do this as soon as I enter some things here. You can watch me. You can watch me type. You can watch me type away. Right? Yeah. Yep, we can do this. I'll do again, you're going to go to shopmcg.com for those of you who are just joining. We are, instead of doing a sticker giveaway tonight, I'm going to give away a t-shirt or something from the shopmcg.com merch store. You can go check that out, pick something out. T-shirt, I'll do a mug if you want a mug instead of a t-shirt. I know the hoodies are pretty pricey, so I'm not going to do the hoodie. But t-shirt, mug, pick something out. We'll talk. But anyway, the winner is going to get to go to shopmcg.com. Let me know what you want from that. You can send me a link, and I'll have it ordered and sent to you. And hopefully spring will do a better job getting things out than they have in the past year. But again, like I said, I ordered a new shirt the other day and got it within, I think it was within 10 days, a couple weeks. Wasn't bad. So was happy for that. So that's where we're going to go. I'll bring that up again. But for now, we're going to do the giveaway. And if you've not participated in the giveaway before, what happens is I'm going to put something on the screen, a word or a phrase, and then you will type that in. I made a mistake here. I have to go back. I hope I don't mess up and lose you here. Yeah, we got it. So let's do this. Click in here, click in here. Thanks for hanging in here with me. All right. Word or phrase. And we're going to go with good old hashtag NYFD. That's New York Fire Department. Or is it FDNY? I think I messed up. I think it's supposed to be FDNY. It is. That's what it is. Well, it doesn't matter. I could put any series of letters or words here, and that would be what you'd enter. So I did that so nobody would guess. That's why I did it that way. The letters are transposed. But you know what they mean. So anyway, just enter that in the live chat. And if you want to open another tab, in case you win, you can check out shopmcg.com. But we'll get some entries here. We've got 23 now, and we'll let these build up a little bit, and then we'll draw. All right. That's better. Let's let a few more of these come in, and then we'll draw. We'll let the music play out. How's that sound? Pretty good, right? Can't believe I did NYFD instead of FDNY. Makes sense, though. My way makes more sense, doesn't it, in the New York Fire Department? Because you have NYPD, right? You don't have PDNY. I don't know. I don't know how that works. This is the part of the show where we wait. All right, let's draw. See my little mouse hovering there, getting ready to hit the draw button. Let's do it. We've had enough time now. Right? Now. And our winner tonight is our friend Kevin Brewer. Congratulations, Kevin, a former winner. I know, Kevin, you won a few things in the past. Congratulations to you, Kevin. I'm glad to see that you won tonight. So, Kevin, two things now for you, my friend. First of all, go to shopmcg.com, pick out something from the store there, t-shirt, mug, something that you want, and then make a decision on that. And then you need to send me an email. And my email address, I'm going to put that on the screen here. So check out that, Kevin. Did you write that down? shopmcg.com. You can always watch this in the replay. And then email me, Kevin, at contact mcgtv@gmail.com. Contact mcgtv@gmail.com. If you can send me a link to what you want, or just a description of what you want, color, size, that kind of stuff. And then, of course, your mailing address, and we'll get that taken care of. So, congratulations, Kevin. This was fun, right? Don't you think? I think it was. All right. Let's look at a few more comments before we wrap up. And thank you, Who's Your Helpers? That's very nice of you to contribute. I appreciate that very much for the super chat. Super thanks, whichever one that is. But thank you. I do appreciate that. Yes, Kevin, you have sent plenty of emails, but so you'll have that in your email box. But I have to ask for it because I don't know what I have, and I don't save emails. So question. Oh, this question isn't even for me. This question is for Ross. Question: what's the next project? Ross has had a heck of a time with that waterline project. It's turned out to be a series for you, Ross, of starting last winter, digging that line. Thank goodness you have a backhoe, but that doesn't always make it easy, apparently. Digging that line, and then, my gosh, almost done, and discover a boulder right in your path that you can't go around, you can't go under, you can't go through. What the heck? So, sorry, Ross. Sorry that happened to you, but I know you got it done. So, yeah, what's next? Or are you done, Ross? You're gonna retire now. Like that did him in. So, but let us know, Ross, what's next on the land. You know what's next for Ross and lots of other people? Hooking up the snowblower, because you guys, winter's coming. It's coming soon for you. It's going to be a little bit more time for us here, but it's coming for you. And the cycle starts again where you got to hook up the snowblower. I wonder if we're going to get anything this year. This part of the state, this part of the country, we used to get a lot more snow, and now It's, I mean, just barely anything the last few years. So, not that I'm hoping for it, but now that we're at the new property, I would like to see a blanket of snow, just to because it's already so pretty, and I just can only imagine how pretty it would be with a blanket of snow and making those first footsteps through the snow and little hachi footsteps, and then it can all melt and go away. But I look forward to seeing it, and that'll be nice. That'll be fun. And Tractor Time with Big E. Thank you for that super thanks. Thank you for the thanks. Appreciate that very much. Very kind of you. Uh, we almost got the t-shirt paid for, but that's okay. You don't need to do that. That's my gift to you, especially to you, Kevin. You're the winner. You're a winner, Kevin. All right. So you asked Ross what the next project is. I don't really have a next project here. I do have some things in the works here, actually. I'm going to do a little bit of um, I have a little cement pad that I want to pour, a little piece of sidewalk. So I want to do a little bit of cement work, which I've not done before. Uh, I've not done a significant amount of cement work. I've obviously at the other place we hired contractors to come in. They poured the tractor shed, the sidewalk. My God, wasn't that nice? 30 years I had a dirt floor in that shed, and I finally got it poured, and then we sold the house. But it was nice while we had it. And then the RV pad that we had poured back there, that was nice. But then we came here and there's an RV pad here and it's beautiful, and the garage has not only concrete floors, but some of it's tiled, and that's beautiful as well. So anyway, but I've never done any concrete work, like little projects, because it's a hassle. But I'm going to do some here. I've got a couple little pads I want to do. So I think those will be fun to share. And then of course, today, on today's video, you saw me cutting a few of the small trees on the side of the barn. I'm working my way back because just behind that, there's the old access road. And I've come in from the other side with the tractor and again with the box blade just yesterday, scraping that old road. I kind of found some flat areas, and I scraped some trails back there so I can kind of make a loop, but I want to be able to go in beside the barn, because right now I have to go in around the barn through the woods down, like there's a hill there, so I got to walk narrowly on this hill. So I want to create this path from behind the barn, and I can see it. I'm getting closer, so I'm just kind of picking away at that, and I look forward to taking you into the woods with me as we clear that some more. But question from Chris: if it does snow, how much will you have to clear to get to the road? Um, Not much. Now we've got two driveways here. One of them is short and close to the road, but it's on an incredibly steep hill. The other one is pretty long and windy, but it's flat. And we prefer the long and windy one. But the short one would be the obvious choice to clear to get to the road. But again, it's on a very steep incline. We could just slide right out to the road. So we'll probably end up having to clear the bigger one. And I should pace that off, how many feet that is. But it's, I don't know, it's 150 feet or so. It's a lot. It's pretty long. Pretty long indeed. Okay. Phil, maybe a new tractor purchase project. That would be fun. Definitely could use something bigger. And I could use even Ross's little backhoe here. I could use that to dig some. I don't know. I don't have specific projects, just a few, but I know once you have the right equipment, you come up with things. That's what always happens. So that would be fun. But the thing about the new tractor purchase, you have to pay for it. That makes it tough. Yeah. So David White mentioned the 9/11 Memorial in New Hampshire. Yeah, that's nice that they're in other areas as well, not just where the attacks happened. So, but anyway, so those are, again, a little concrete job. I want to do that, and then maybe if we do the wood stove project here in the house, I'll bring you in. You know, as I mentioned before, I thought about kind of shifting the content of the channel a little bit more to be a little more homesteady DIY stuff. And you know, I may do that. You know, we talked about, should I have a second channel just for the housework and that type of work, or try to roll it all into the same channel. And I still look for your feedback with that. But I want to show you, I want to bring you in and show you some of the things as we start to do some things inside. I just don't know that, again, that crummy old algorithm, whether the algorithm is going to accept that. It'll be like, this content is not what you normally do. I'm not going to show it to anybody because this isn't right. I don't know. But your feedback is always welcome. And this live stream is the best way to give me your feedback because it's real time. We see it there. So, but at any rate, it is Monday. And I'm glad that we got together on this Monday, as we have in the past. We missed last week, but I really have a good time being here with you. And we'll work on having another guest come up and join us soon, because that's always fun to talk to other people. Or we'll do an open forum again and bring some folks on to talk about whatever they want, tractor related. We'll be doing that soon. So anyway, it's Monday, September 11th. Take some time tonight, if you haven't yet, whether it be a moment of silence or whether you watch a documentary or just have some quiet thoughts, thinking about those 3,000 people and their families and this nation. And you know, we can all, again, if you were alive during that time, think back, remember September 12th. Let's get back to September 12th when we were all unified and supportive of one another, because we really are. You know, like I said before, we have a lot more in common than we have differences. Think about September 12th. Let's get back to September 12th. Obviously, we'd want to be back to September 10th before any of this happened, but September 12th was a special time when we supported one another. So let's get back to that. But anyway, have a great week. I hope that the rest of your summer goes well. We're coming up on autumn soon. Yeah, have a great week is all I can think of at this point. And I look forward to seeing you next week. We'll do something else next week. I don't know what we'll do, but this is the first time we've been back in the house for a while too. We did the back porch. We did the deck. I think we did an outside live stream. So I haven't been up here for a while to do this. So this is fun to be back here in the studio. So again, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Thanks for all your comments, all your support of the channel, and I really do love our interactions in the chats and the comments on the videos, and your friendship and all that good stuff. I really mean it. I really am glad you're here. Thanks a bunch, and I look forward to seeing you next time.